Welcome to our show. Join us as we escape the 9 to 5 and begin our journey as entrepreneurs. Hi, I'm Josiah and this is Kelly Nagel, and we're entrepreneurs in the last frontier, the great state of Alaska. We'll release a new podcast every Wednesday.
Welcome back. Happy Wednesday. This is episode 9 of the Entrepreneur Nagel podcast. We are super excited. So we always do a question of the day. So are you ready?
Let's do it.
Would you rather, Josiah, live in a giant gingerbread house or ride on the Polar Express?
So riding on the Polar Express, is that a one-time thing?
I think both of them are one of those, like, I'll make a rule. Okay, giant gingerbread house, you used to get like a one-night stay, maybe part of a day. Polar Express, you get to hang out for like the day.
Okay, so it's kind of a one-day experience. I don't see any allure to living in a gingerbread house.
Yeah.
Let's just say there hasn't been a movie made about living in a gingerbread house. Therefore, it's not very exciting. Polar Express, there's a movie.
But you could eat the house. Whatever you wanted.
That's
you
dumb.
Just want some gingerbread?
I don't want to do that.
You
could go on the Polar Express and get hot chocolate.
You're right. I did not think this
through.
So,
absolutely Polar Express. Trains are pretty sweet. There's a movie made about it. So it's an even better train. Go see Santa. Go see all the elves. Cause some mischief. Maybe figure out, maybe take a camera, take a few pictures of Santa's manufacturing process, figure out what he's paying these elves, maybe give them a better offer, bring them back. Oh. There's a great angle there. I mean, clearly Santa's got a corner of the market that no one can compete with because it's mysterious. It's magical. But if I got a ride on the Polar Express, I went to visit Santa. Shoot, if you've seen the movie, you know, what's his name? The boy and the girl and the other little Tiny Tim, they sneak away from the group. It's been done before. They get in to the shipping process that Santa uses. And honestly, I think the movie reveals a lot about Amazon's fulfillment process. Maybe Mr. Bezos watched that movie and got a few ideas. But absolutely Polar Express. I think I've said too much. I don't want other people to steal my ideas that I'm going to grab from Santa.
Did you ever watch or read the book? The Polar Express book?
No.
You've never read the book?
I didn't know there's a book.
Remember my elementary school principal loved trains but loved Polar Express. And so she had a train set up in the front office at our elementary school. Okay. And she would come around and read the Polar Express book to all the classes.
All right.
That was kind of fun.
All right.
We enjoyed that. So it's a Christmas season, hence why Christmas would you rather questions. But you really wouldn't like a giant gingerbread house to be able to like walk inside.
No, I mean there's definitely a business angle you could take from that. But I think Polar Express is a more exciting experience.
It probably is.
Yeah.
Because you get to see cool sights. Go over a frozen
I think end of the day, if I really want a giant gingerbread house, I could build my own.
You could.
Right. Wouldn't be easy. But you can't recreate the Polar Express.
It's just kind of true.
That's unique.
That is very unique.
Yeah. You can't just buy a ticket for that.
That is true. You have to be given a ticket.
Yeah, so I would take that ticket.
Good idea.
I hadn't thought about this. How much do you think I could sell that ticket for? That's another angle. Oh, man. Okay. Okay, so I sell the ticket to a kid. I have him wear a GoPro. Oh. So I get the information I need and cash money from selling the ticket.
You don't want the experience, though. I would love the experience. That would be fun.
Maybe. But then I could take that GoPro footage, make another Polar Express #2 movie.
Oh,
all of a sudden, I'm in Hollywood, hanging out with Steven Spielberg himself. 10 years later, they're making Marvel movies about me.
My goodness.
But I think we're getting away from, that's my 10-year plan.
Yeah.
And that's not what you asked about.
I like this. I like how your thought process comes to be. It's very interesting.
I have a bit of a philosophy. If you're thinking the same as everyone else, you might be doing it wrong. Because just because everyone else is doing it doesn't make it right. Doesn't make it the best way. Innovators, inventors, and those who are movers and shakers, they think differently. Look at Elon Musk. Everybody makes fun of him because he's got some crazy ideas.
But he makes them happen. He
but
does.
I bet you he would videotape the North Pole after he rode the Polar Express.
I bet
Somebody who knows him, send this to him. Let me know what he says. But yeah, if you want to be different, if you want to make a difference, you can't think like everyone else. Yeah. You can't.
Okay, so last episode 8.
Episode 8.
We talked about diversifying and how you diversify, pivot. You specifically diversify products and your income streams and why those are good things. This episode, we'll be talking about business news, how Santa, what he's been doing, and how he's been diversifying his means of communicating with children. And then also the Amazon rule that you found, which was pretty interesting. But we'll start with this Santa, what Santa's been up to.
Yeah.
Or Santas in general.
So if you, growing up, or you currently take your kids to go see Santa at the mall or wherever else he hangs out, to take a photo, to whatever else. I never really did that, so I don't know what
Mostly
they do.
the mall.
Anyway, this year's a little different because everyone is trying to follow government mandates and recommendations with maintaining 6 feet and trying not to go out into public as much, things of that nature. So there is a Mr. and Mrs. Claus that has found a way around that. They are one of the many Santa actors around the country that do this seasonally, and it's one of their jobs. So this Mr. and Mrs. Claus are actors who have started doing Zoom calls with families, offering a at-home distance option. So, many this article I found says many Santas are suiting up behind plexiglass, waving to children from snow globes, doing virtual calls. But these two are doing the Zoom calls. It's a more personalized approach to the children than being behind a plexiglass. You do it at home. Shoot, it's easier. Man, you don't got to go to the mall, grab your kids, get them dressed up, stand in line for, 45 minutes, an hour. Those lines are always long.
Yeah.
You can sign up for this little Zoom call, and little Johnny and Jimmy can have a personal chat with the Santa Claus from home.
Yeah.
From home.
I'm assuming in a time that works best for them.
So this couple says that they expect to make 3 or 4 times their normal income this season. Wow. And it's, I would say, an easier job for them.
Yeah.
They don't got to go to the mall. They can make their own hours.
They don't have to, lease the space at the mall.
Stay at home. They got a little picture. They're in their outfits. They might
with
not,
the scene in the background.
They might not be wearing pants. It's another perk of Zoom. Another perk of this podcast. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, because I feel like you might have to have a bigger setup even at the mall. Like, normally, you got to have this big old sleigh, maybe, a bunch of trees set up. Whereas, if you're at home Zoom call, even with if you're watching, we just have a slight background a little bit. I'm sure we could, get a better background. But if you're in a Santa thing, like you can only see like what, maybe 1-2 trees max. So you can have like, or have your house and like set it up all, I don't know, Santa-y. That's kind of cool.
Yeah. Wow, look at this. Okay, here's a breakdown of their business and how much income they're potentially making. So they're logging about 4 to 6 video calls an hour to kids and families across the country. They're doing up to 9 hours a day. They have a website, visitfromtheclosets.com, if you want to go check them out. And their price for a private chat with them ranges from $49 for a 5-minute chat up to $69 for a 10-minute chat. That's incredible. That's incredible. So if they do 4 to 6 video calls an hour, on the low end, that's $200 an hour of revenue.
Yeah. Wow.
And they don't have too much overhead expenses. Okay, they got a website. They might have a Zoom subscription.
Yeah.
They already own their Santa outfits and such, and they probably already had a Christmas tree set up in their living room.
Right.
Somewhere else in the article it says that this couple met on Match.com about 10 years ago. So that's pretty funny. They're familiar with the online experience.
Yeah.
Of that nature. So
interesting.
Just an example going back to what we talked about last week, diversifying, pivoting, and especially in this year as a business owner, don't give up on your business. You might need to change it in order to meet your customers where they are. And in this case, it sounds like they are actually making a lot more money. I bet even if things go back to normal next year, they're going to be doing this again.
Yeah.
Guarantee it.
Now, I do have to say, they might honestly still do an in-person thing, maybe on Saturdays or something. I wouldn't be surprised by that. Because, there is something to, like, just an in-person experience. But even, I'm sure for them, they probably enjoy talking with kids and people. I find that to be more, I don't know, personable. If we were doing something like that, I would probably still want to do in-person things. But yeah, if they're not going to drop the Zoom stuff, I don't see why they wouldn't want to like keep up with the Zoom and keep all that going. That's incredible. That really is insane. And I feel like too, like it helps with the kids because there's nap time. So like for most kids, especially at a young age. Like, so what do you do in those scenarios? Well, you're not going to take little Johnny out to see Santa after 5 p.m. But if you're trying to get them ready for bed and they're all ready to go to bed, you can set them up for the just before bedtime Zoom call with Santa and Mrs. Claus. Like, that would be cool. That's pretty neat. And I know most kids, like, they get creeped out by, like, being sat on this bearded man's lap in a red suit. And they're like, who the heck is this person? Yeah. And they freak out and scream cry. Not all of them, but some of them. Whereas this is still like, okay, oh, wow, look, there's Santa. But, like, still being able to sit on mom and dad, like, hang out with them, and just chat back and forth. So that's kind of cool.
Absolutely. Yeah. Last thing on Santa. Another tidbit I learned from this article, and we probably throw it in the description so you can look into it. There's tons of other Santa and Mrs. Clauses that are doing this Zoom stuff all across the country. So they're not the only ones that have switched to this. But so it says the Santa culture, actor culture, is a force of itself. Some grow their bellies months ahead of time, bulking for that Santa season. Others invest in suits that cost upwards of $3,000. And they go through extensive training. Some of them do magic tricks on the Zoom calls. Some play songs. Some just have a heart-to-heart conversation with different families. So that's pretty interesting. I never would have guessed that those suits can cost up to $3,000. But I guess you think about it, if you want one that looks the part.
Yeah, and isn't going to just fall apart or something.
You're going to pay up a little bit.
Yeah, interesting. Wow, that is a way to diversify and go ahead and pivot what they're normally doing to make stuff work for Christmas this year.
So, moving on with the same kind of theme of diversifying and having income from all sorts of industries and options. Let's talk about Amazon and what they're doing. I know they've been working on this for a little bit. We'll talk about the rule in a minute.
Okay, sorry.
Don't jump ahead. But Amazon has several physical stores.
You just told me about this, and I was like, no, that's not true.
Let me try to share on the screen.
This is true.
Oh, there we go. Okay, so Amazon is getting into the brick and mortar retail space, and they have been for several years moving in on this. So if you take a look at the screen, these are the physical store locations they have around the nation. So they've got Amazon bookstores, don't know much about that. Amazon 4-star, we'll talk about that in a second. I think that's really, really interesting.
What is that? Oh.
Amazon Fresh, if you didn't know, Amazon in the last couple of years acquired Whole Foods and is moving into the grocery space.
Is that for real?
That's for real. And also with that, on Amazon.com, if you didn't know this, depending on your region, you can order groceries to your house. Now, no matter where you are, you can order grocery type foods, but a lot of locations, you can only get the non-perishable cans, boxes, cereal, candy, things like that. Certain locations, you can now get produce through the Amazon Fresh program delivered to your house.
Wow.
Pretty crazy. So they're in the grocery space. Amazon Pop-Up, kind of a smaller, think like mall, little pop-up studio selling some gadgets, things like that. I don't know too much about that one. Amazon Go.
We've
actually been to one of these in Seattle. Amazon's headquarters. I think they have more Amazon Go locations around the country now. Really, really neat idea. Essentially, it's a convenience store kind of style store. They have little packaged snacks, drinks, and grab and go type foods. Then they also have
like pre-made sandwiches, that sort of stuff.
Yeah. Then they also have easy to make dinner kits, which is really neat. Really neat. They have some pretty nice options. A family sized dinner. It's got all the ingredients. Maybe they're already prepped. Onions are already cut, the chicken's already cut, and the instructions. So you can do a homemade meal with this little kit real easy. But what's revolutionary about this Amazon Go store, there's no cashiers.
No cashiers.
Hardly any employees. The only employees they have are there to stock the shelves. Mm-hmm. Everything else...
And they had an alcohol section, so they did have someone checking IDs.
Yeah.
For that section, but...
Absolutely.
But yeah, they had no employee, like, you didn't, like, talk to an employee, like, to, like, let me get this product. Like, no. You, like, walked out the door. It was
so how it works is you get a little app on your phone, Amazon Go app. When you walk into the store, there's, like, the amusement park little gates. You scan your app, and so then...
to your Amazon account.
Mm-hmm, yeah, linked to your Amazon account, to your Amazon billing, your debit card, everything on there. It's all linked to that. And from the minute you scan and start walking around the store, a combination of your phone, the sensors in the ceiling, and all sorts of other, proprietary technology that they've created is tracking your every move. When you take an item off the shelf, say you grab a bottle of water, it knows you grabbed that bottle of water. And if you walk out of the store with that bottle of water, it will charge you for that bottle of water.
And all you had to do was put the bottle of water, put it in your bag, and you could literally walk out and you were done.
Yeah, pretty crazy. So, super streamlined shopping process. You walk in, you grab what you want, you walk out. Mm-hmm. And then the bill just goes straight to your Amazon account.
It was pretty cool.
Think about how much time you spend standing in line at different grocery stores.
Yeah.
Especially if you go at the wrong time of day. On payday.
Or wrong season.
Wrong season.
Like right now.
Absolutely, yeah. So really, really neat. And when we were there, I tried to trick the system a few times.
You did?
I'd take a bottle of water and I'd put it where the bottles of Coke were. And then I'd come back in a minute and grab the bottle of water, trying to see if it would think it was a bottle of Coke or something like that. No.
Or I remember we would put it in the bag and then take it back out of the bag a few minutes later and go put it back. And it knew. It didn't charge us for any of those things.
Yeah, really, really neat system. If you look up in the ceiling, it's just covered in all sorts of different
I'm sure we were helping
sensors and technology.
Test their system.
Yeah, so I'm intrigued as to where that technology goes long term. Right now, they just have convenience style stores.
I found it convenient because honestly, at the grocery store, and I've heard this before, I'm sure you have too, they always have cameras, but they're not really up there for security reasons. I'm sure they can be used for that, but you know that those cameras are up there to track how customers shop, so then the big name products can put their stuff at those specific spots in the store, the best place to stock something on a shelf, et cetera, how they walk a store. Like, you know that's what they're using those cameras for.
Yeah. There's a huge industry of just watching consumers' purchasing and shopping habits and then using that to better tailor the shopping experience and therefore get retailers more revenue because they place, based off of product placement and things like that. Really, really interesting. We can maybe dive into that another episode.
Yeah. Who was it that you told me about? I didn't know that this week. Now, he has some interesting views on some stuff that we probably don't agree with, but overall, like he learned from his dad's gas station or convenience store or something, something like that.
I think you're talking about Gary V. Yeah. When he was a younger man, he helped his dad's liquor store. Kind of started noticing trends like that as to how people shop, and based off of that was able to help increase the revenue of his dad's store by changing product placement.
That's huge.
And some simple changes like that made a big difference.
That's cool.
Last on this list, we've got Amazon Go Grocery. Not familiar with that, but I assume it's the same as Amazon Go, but more of a regular grocery store. Really, really neat.
Fresh stuff.
Yeah.
Is what it looks
like.
All
right, so let's talk about Amazon 4-star. I think this is really, really neat. And they've got locations you can see here on the map in about 15 different states. Quite a few locations. And what Amazon 4-star is, they've chosen customer favorites from across Amazon.com and they've put them in a store. All of these products are rated 4-star and up. All of them are sold by Amazon. And you can go to a retail store and buy them right there.
So you know that these are like highly reviewed products. Absolutely. Like good products people really like.
They are right there. 4 stars and above, top selling, new and trending. So when I first saw this, my first thought, and maybe your first thought, is Amazon.com is an e-commerce giant. Why are they getting into the brick and mortar business?
Yeah.
They've got this pop-up 4-star store. They're getting into retail grocery. They've got several other options we just talked about. If the future is e-commerce and online shopping, why is Amazon moving into brick and mortar and retail?
Yeah. That's weird.
Here's my theory. Amazon has a huge percentage of the market share, right? I think in a previous episode we talked about how e-commerce just in the last year or so has gone from about 10% to about 20% of overall shopping.
Okay.
Overall sales. Amazon has about 50% of that e-commerce market.
That is insane.
So 50% of about 10 to 20%. This article I just pulled up was from 2018.
So you know.
And so it's a little old, and I know it's jumped up since then. But in 2018, Amazon had 5% of the entire U.S. retail market.
5%?
5%. I would expect it is closer to 10% now.
What? That is huge.
So right there, You see Amazon, as far as e-commerce sales, Amazon had over 49%. Second place, eBay with 6%.
Wow.
Holy cow.
Apple with 3.9%.
They're leaps and bounds ahead of that.
Wow.
Ahead of all of these others. It's interesting that Home Depot is up there.
That is. Versus like what? Like Lowe's? I wonder, Whereas like I guess Lowe's is more popular maybe in person? I don't know.
That's perhaps. I don't really know. That'd be another thing to delve into. So here's my theory. Amazon already has 5% of the retail market. E-commerce, online sales, as we've talked about, are continuing to exponentially grow from 10% to 20% in the last year.
Right.
Why is Amazon moving into the retail space? I think because there's still 80 to 90% of the market share is brick and mortar retail.
Yeah.
Why would Amazon not move into that? Why would they not? Online commerce will continue to grow, and as that grows, Amazon's share of the market will continue to grow.
Right.
But in order to jump that and get an even bigger cut of the market, Amazon's getting into brick and mortar.
I mean, you need to.
And why wouldn't they? They've already got the infrastructure, essentially. They've already got a huge percentage of the online market. So they know what sells. And I think that's what's most interesting about the Amazon 4-star stores they've created. I feel like there's nothing to lose.
They already know what's selling. Like, it's not like it's already information they have.
They just have some monkeys program some algorithm that says, all right, find me the top sellers on Amazon.com.
In these varieties. I wonder if they do it by category, though.
And then the monkeys oh, the Fire TV widget. And then Jeff is like, oh, yeah, that's a good one, man. Let's put that in the store. And then they put it in the store. And they're almost guaranteed that it's going to sell.
That's true. Because
it's tested, tried, and true.
I mean, even without these stores, you can still buy Amazon products in a normal retail store. Like, you can go buy a Fire Stick TV, like where you plug it into the TV and get TV apps, cable, whatnot, at Target, at Walmart.
Yeah.
Like, so yeah, why don't they, instead of like cut that middleman out and make their own store? I mean, I'm sure they'll still sell them in those locations.
That's a great point. Another angle to look at this. Amazon is cutting out the middleman.
Yeah.
Amazon products, their Fire products, their tablet products. What else do they have? The Echo line.
Oh, yes.
Their AI.
Yeah.
Speaker robot dude.
Yeah.
Chick. I don't know.
Yeah.
Those are sold at all the major brick and mortar stores. Walmart, Target, Fred Meyer, our grocery store, Costco. Keep going. The list goes on and on. They're sold everywhere. And they sell for the same price as they sell on Amazon.com. Which sale is Amazon making more money off of? The one on their website. There's no middleman. Yes. Amazon manufactures it. Yeah. Amazon sells it. They get a bigger chunk of change. These products are hot sellers. Guarantee they're 4 stars and up.
But it's still worth it to them to sell it in store.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But then them having a 4-star store, now instead of like, okay, Target or Walmart or whatever can go buy into the Instapot, that it's not Amazon's Instapot, it's whatever Instapot brand that you buy. That's 4-star.
That is the brand.
Instapot.
Instapot.
Anyways, but they get their own, what is that called again when you buy it direct from the manufacturer? Like that wholesale. They get their wholesale price. So Target buys into the wholesale price of Instapot, and Amazon does too. And then they sell it each at their own platform. So Target online as well, but in store a lot of the time. And so now Amazon can dive into those Instapots in store. Like that would be big.
Yeah.
To know, like, walking into a store, like, these all have top reviewed items. These are just top reviewed. Not just any item that Target finds, not just any item Walmart finds, but these are the top reviewed things. I would gladly walk in there and buy a lot of that stuff.
Yeah, and here's another cool thing. I don't know what exactly the perks are when you shop at Whole Foods. You now get some perks for having a Prime membership.
Whoa.
That extends to their Amazon 4-star store. It's open to all customers, but in-store Prime members pay the same price as it is for Prime members online. And as you know, sometimes Prime members can get a special deal for being a member for different products. So that's pretty cool. Here's an idea of kind of what products they have in there. Here's a little picture. I see Legos, so they got toys, they got plushes, they got books. I know they got all the tech. Amazon devices, other smart home accessories, which are really hot right now, security systems. And
thermostats, that sort of thing.
Yeah, and Amazon has basically taken their online e-commerce giant and used it as a data mine to figure out what products are going to sell in a retail store. Kind of backwards, I would say, from what a lot of other companies do. They start a brick and mortar first, and then they open up an online thing.
Interesting. I like the way Amazon did it.
Yeah.
And they know what works. And I'm sure they do a lot of grouping. Like they know, okay, when somebody buys this type of thermostat, they also buy this thing with it. And they buy this. And they typically buy that. So they might put it all together or have a combo pack or something.
It says that right on the page here. They curate their store with most wished for items as well as frequently bought together. If you shop on Amazon at all, you've probably seen right below the listing, they'll have a frequently bought together. They're trying to upsell you.
Yeah. Just like every other store.
It's probably something you didn't necessarily think you need, but once you see that, you're like, man, that does go perfect with this item I'm about to buy.
Yes.
And so they've done that in their Amazon 4-star store.
Yeah. That's pretty cool.
Say that 5 times fast. 4-star store.
4-star store. 4-star store.
4-star store.
4-star store.
Okay, so check it out. I would love to visit one of these.
Where are they again?
In the near future. There's quite a few locations. Visit our stores around the country. Ooh. So hopefully, maybe in the next year, probably in Cali.
Seattle.
Is there one in Seattle?
There are. There's 2.
Yeah. Okay. So maybe we'll hop down to Seattle sometime to check out this store. If there's one near you,
quick, easy trip. 3-4 hour flight, easy.
Worth it to shop for the same stuff I could shop for online at home.
But maybe not wait 2 weeks to get.
We would get it faster. We would get Prime shipping within 2 days.
We would.
That's another sad story about living in Alaska. But if there's one of these stores near you, whether it's Amazon Fresh, 4-star, Amazon Go store, one of their other grocery, the pop-up store, I'm interested in that one as well. Let me know what it's like.
That is really cool.
Because Amazon is constantly innovating.
Yeah.
And I think it's interesting trends to keep an eye on, especially as a business owner, in the e-commerce industry.
Yeah.
Especially since we sell on Amazon.
That's huge.
We are getting part of that 50% of online sales. I'm very happy with that.
I like it.
Amazon sure gets their cut, but
yeah.
It's worth it.
It's true. It's worth their platform, though.
Absolutely. You can't compete with them and what they're doing.
No.
But I am interested in the trend that other big companies are starting to try to compete with that. Mm-hmm. Walmart.com. They now have Walmart Plus, which is a rival to Amazon Prime. I don't know exactly what you get. I haven't looked into it.
Okay.
But you get some shipping benefits and some other things like that.
That's a big deal.
It might be something to keep an eye on. And I think there's some other companies out there. I know, what is it? Bed Bath & Beyond. They have a membership program.
That's cool.
Probably called Beyond Plus. Real creative.
Amazon Plus, Walmart Plus, Beyond Plus.
Yeah, just add a plus. And you pay...
Disney Plus.
Just like Amazon, you pay a yearly subscription. I think it's pretty similar, about $40. Well, Amazon Prime, I think, is a little more than that. But you get a lot more. But yeah, Bed Bath & Beyond, you get free shipping. And as you know, you always get those junk mailers for 20% off. As a Beyond Plus member, you get 20% off everything, every purchase, your entire order. Really good perk if you shop there a lot.
So you don't even need the coupons.
You don't even need to shuffle through your recycling bin to find an old coupon.
We have stacks of them.
Stacks on
I
stacks
probably
on
should
stacks.
get rid of a few.
All of them expired. You can use expired ones in store, but not online. And
not online.
I tend to shop online with Bed Bath & Beyond for different products. So, I think we touched on some interesting things.
Oh, but you didn't hit the rule.
Yeah, and that brings us to, we're talking about Amazon being an innovator.
This is a big deal. I'm excited to talk about this.
As well as all these other spaces. Here's one of their reasons why they've done so well. Jeffrey Bezos.
Okay, this is now we're linking into like leadership and people and human resources. Like, how do you lead people?
Yeah. And this isn't a concept I'd ever really thought about, but after reading this article, it's like, wow, yeah, he's absolutely right.
Yeah.
And with my experience as a leader in the military, yeah, I see exactly how that plays out, and the military is structured in a somewhat similar way, I would say, as well. Mm-hmm. And this is Jeff Bezos's 2 pizza rule.
So
it's kind of a clickbait title. I saw this article. I'm like, Jeff Bezos 2 pizza rule. Is this like Donald Trump and his addiction to McDonald's and Diet Coke? I want to know about Jeff Bezos and what kind of pizza he eats.
When you told me this, I was like, what did you say again? Like, what? What rule?
Exactly.
2 pizza rule. What?
So, in the early days of Amazon, when it was still being built and grown before it was a massive success, Jeff Bezos instituted the rule of the 2 pizza rule. Here's what it is. Every internal team within the company should be small enough that it can be fed with 2 pizzas. 2 pizzas. And that seems kind of silly and like, what?
Yeah.
What do you mean, Jeffrey? And what he means by that is, if you keep those teams small, that makes meetings more effective because you're limiting the number of participants.
Huh. That's huge.
So if you've worked in a type of career or job or position where you go to a lot of meetings, think about the meetings you were in. Here's a better question. How many people does it take to eat 2 pizzas?
What do they recommend?
Who cares what they recommend?
I don't know.
Nobody follows what
like
the FDA says serving
8
size.
Max?
This is America. Supersize me.
Like 8 max, I would say. If it's like 2 large pizzas.
Yeah, 2 large pizzas, 2 slices each.
Maybe 8.
8 people probably max. I would say probably less than 8.
Maybe a bunch of hungry men, probably 4.
Here's the thing. I have a bigger appetite and a bigger opinion in some cases. I am going to eat half the pizza. And depending on the circumstance, I might dominate half the meeting.
Stop it.
With nonsense. Probably not helpful. Which is why you need 4 other people there to finish off the other pizza and a half. I think 5 people. That's my analysis of Bezos' 2 pizza rule. 5 to 8. We'll make it a range. But
yeah.
Where was I going? Okay, think about a meeting you've been in. Think about a meeting you've been in that had 5 to 8 people and how productive you were. And then think about a meeting you've been in that had 12 people in it.
I have sat in a meeting one time where or called into a meeting one time. Too many people. Too many people on the phone. Too many people in the actual meeting itself. It was way too big. It was like 20 plus people. Mm-hmm. It was not, we'll just say, it did not go well. And it was like one of those daily meetings. This is not good. I stopped calling in because I was like, this is now pointless. I'm not getting anything out of this. Which is also a bad thing. You don't want that. You don't want people to just stop participating in a meeting if it's actually supposed to be productive.
This is why the government is ineffective. They don't follow the 2 pizza rule.
They don't. They do not.
The government follows the CC's Pizza rule. Ever been to CC's Pizza? It's a pizza buffet. Government says, yeah. Anyone else want to join?
we'll just keep adding.
In fact, it's mandatory that you join. It's like, I don't even know what? You're not my department. You need to come. We're having pizza.
What?
Anyway, so Jeffrey says smaller teams are often more engaged and they feel a greater sense of autonomy. With fewer levels of management to interact with, they're able to make decisions faster.
I like this.
I feel like we can talk a lot about the government right there.
But there's a lot of companies that do that poorly too. We'll just say that.
Absolutely. A recent report showed that companies in the U.S. with fewer than 10 employees scored 42% engagement levels. I don't know what that means. How do you measure engagement levels? You have like a little thermometer. While the average engagement level for bigger companies below 30%. So here's my experience with meetings. If it's a smaller meeting, I personally am more willing to share my opinion and my thoughts. If you have a smaller group where everyone feels like they're part of the conversation, you're going to be able to innovate better. You don't want to stifle people's ideas just because the group size is so big. If I was in a bigger meeting, I probably would be less likely to share my opinion just because I want the meeting to end. And I know if I share my opinion, it's going to prolong that meeting.
Because then there's a few people in there that think that they need to share their opinion about your opinion. And then like, it's just like a cycle and it's just like a tornado that just keeps going and going and going.
And then you get to the end of the meeting and everyone has shared 10% of their idea to solve the problem. And so you have 10% solutions and you've been there an hour and a half and haven't figured anything out. But if you have 5 to 8 people, you can each better share, better communicate, and you can actually make a decision.
You can probably even get to know those people better. And that's the key there too. Absolutely. If you only have 5 to 8 close friends, how close can you really get with those people? You can get pretty close because you can meet with them more frequently. If you know 50 people, 25 people, now this is not to say like we know a bunch of people. Let's not say that. But to say if you're close with 25 people, I don't know if that's actually possible. You can't get close with 25 people.
Absolutely.
Because to become close, you got to be meeting one-on-one, meeting in a smaller group, maybe 2 to 3 even. So out of a 5 to 8 person group, there's probably people meeting in a 2 to 3 person group to get one specific task of a huge project done. And then it just cycles from there. But you got to build that bond, whether it's intentional or not, or even if it's just a work bond kind of scenario where you're only friends in a work scenario, but that's okay. That's a good thing.
Yeah, I think personally, and I think a lot of people might be like myself, I'm more willing to be critical, more willing to share my opinion, and more willing to shut down other people's opinions when they're stupid, if I know that person better.
Yeah.
If
you're like,
I
whoa,
have more
hey
of
buddy,
a personal relationship,
you're on the deep end.
I'm more willing to tell them your idea is dumb.
Yeah.
Versus
and here's
if
why.
It's a complete stranger and I'm in a room of 25 people, I'm probably just going to be like, all right, I just want this meeting to end.
Right.
So
and because you just don't know everybody. And so you don't want to, and it's not like, oh, like I don't want to just share because it really is a bad idea, but like I don't want to look bad. It's just more like I don't know how these people are going to interpret what I'm saying. Like if they don't know you, they're going to be like, who are you? Like what?
Okay, so there's no such thing as a bad idea. Wrong. There's bad ideas.
There is bad ideas.
However, I don't think that means you should censor those bad ideas.
Yeah.
Because the bad idea might actually trigger a good idea. Or there might be an element of that bad idea that can fit into someone else's idea to make it better. That doesn't mean that bad idea is good. It just means there's maybe something you can analyze and take from it.
Right.
And you're going to stifle everyone's ability to share ideas, create and innovate if the group is too big. And if, it's a lot easier to order 2 pizzas.
It is. It's just a lot it's cheaper.
That's what it comes down to.
It's just cheaper and easier.
Yeah.
I like his rule though. It's so true. I think if you just get too big, and it's not to say, obviously, as you see, Amazon is huge, huge. But what is they probably still keep it to that rule of like each team, like if there's 5 to 8 people in a group and you need to hire more people, what probably needs to happen is you need to split teams and have different teams.
Yeah, and, break that project down into multiple parts.
Right. Which overall they can come together as one huge thing, obviously, as I'm sure they're employing thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of people. Yes. So that's just huge in and of itself. That's a big deal.
Pretty neat business leadership tidbit that I learned this week from that article, the 2 pizza rule. I love looking at what Amazon is doing, watching their trends, and I think there's a lot we can learn and discover through what they're doing. They obviously have it figured out, and they're trying new stuff.
How do you think a 5 to 8%? Because I like what he said there too. Of it helps with I forget that part of the quote, but it was something about management and how there was less management and people to go through. So I view that as like less bureaucratic, like weeds and like, oh, you got to fill out this form to then fill out this form for then so-and-so to sign it and then so-and-so to sign it and then so and like you're just like, well, that takes like 5 days when this should take like 30 minutes.
What he's getting at is the ability to make decisions quickly.
Yeah.
When you add layers of management, that idea and decision that the team at the bottom has created and come up with isn't official until the 3 managers above them review and approve it.
Right.
Which, as we all know, that paperwork's going to sit on someone's desk for a
because
week.
They have a lot of other things to do.
And then they're going to be like, excuse me, there's a typo. And be like, come on, man. You got to start over, retype it, and then it gets to the next manager. He goes, no, we wanted it double spaced. Can you really add some more pictures? Now you're 3 months later down the road.
And this idea is now out the window because it doesn't work anymore.
And it's too late.
Yeah.
It's too late. So decisiveness of decisions.
Do you think that also helps the managers? Because you know that there's tiers of managers, even within management, within Amazon. Do you think that also helps those managers realize that they need to, what's that word we always talk about? Delegate.
Delegate? Mm-hmm.
That they need to delegate and go, you know what? They're going to just be assigned to quality control of this whatever system in our line, or they're going to be assigned to innovating the next best thing, and I'm going to leave it up to them. And they give me the best stuff, and maybe I help at the end, like, finalize it, but you end up going, you guys did a great job. Like, instilling, what is that? Like, I don't know. What would that be? Like, instilling something in them.
When you give that team the ability to actually make decisions and actually create and feel like they are really making a difference in the project or the bigger picture, they're going to be more motivated.
Yeah.
They're going to have more of a buy-in to the project, more of a personal honor and pride in what they create.
I feel like, and I could keep going with this, and I would love to go on. Maybe we should turn this into another podcast if we're going to do that. Because I feel like this dives into more, even into the delegation and leadership, and how certain styles are really the best ways of doing things. And to be able to let go and go, you know what? I'm not the best at this. This person's better at this. I'm going to let them do it. Even though, I'm in charge. I'm the leader. I'm the whatever. But instilling and realizing that they might be better at something. We'll just leave it at that. We'll have to talk about it again.
Right on. All right. I think we'll probably wrap this episode up.
Yeah.
Right. So we touched on some pretty neat things there that Amazon's doing. A little insight into Jeff Bezos' mind. Let us know what you think.
2 pizza rule.
Let us know if you've ever been in a meeting that should have been an email.
I saw a coffee mug the other day that was just like, I'm so glad I survived like this meeting that should have been an email or whatever. It's kind of funny.
And I think there's some pretty interesting trends that might not be good with the COVID experience in America in regards to meetings. It is now much easier to create a meeting and to meet with people because everyone can be in their own location. Right. And you can just babble on and on and on and on and on this little screen.
We can just keep talking about
it. On your Zoom chat, whatever.
But we're not actually doing it.
And then at the same time, there might be like 10% important content, but 90% of the people are going to be zoned out because they're going to be like, this meeting is dumb, and they're going to be playing Tetris and on their TikToks and doing the Instabams. So...
I love you.
If you have important information in your meeting... make it short, sweet, and to the point. Bluff, bottom line, up front. Kiss, keep it simple, stupid. I think we'll wrap it up there.
What did you just say? I'm so lost.
Just a bunch of random acronyms that I've picked up in the last few years. The military is good at acronyms.
That was great. I loved it. Okay. So, like, comment, share. Specifically this last part of the video, I can't. Like, comment, share if you're on YouTube. I think, what is it, on podcast? Leave us a 5-star review. Share it, download it if you'd like.
Hey, we're on
Instagram.
Google Podcasts.
We are on Google Podcasts.
Which is
that was
cool.
exciting.
That means we're legit,
We're
right?
on Pandora and Spotify.
Yeah, Pandora.
We're slow, like, we say, like, find it wherever you can, but it's a slow process sometimes, because these people take a long time, which can be good. They want to make sure,
And here's why. Okay. I guarantee they have 3 pizza teams working on this.
And this is probably,
should probably down 5. To 2 pizza teams.
Yeah.
We're on Instagram, so if you made it to this point in the podcast, congratulations, and I'm sorry.
I'm not sorry.
Look us up on Instagram. We're trying to post there every day of the week, but Sunday.
Yep.
Some business things, some fun stuff about Alaska.
Yeah, just personal stuff too.
Other stuff. I got a pretty sweet pepper garden growing, but we need to wrap this episode up. I could talk about.
We are continuing on
my random hobbies.
Oh, last thing I'll add at the end. Comment down below. So in January, and we'll mention this in the next video. So we're gonna take like a 2-week break. I think this is what we decided. If not 3-week break, I think it's 2 weeks for obviously Christmas, New Year's. But please let us know what you would like us to talk about or what your questions are in regards to finance, personal finance, business finance. We have a little tidbits that we're going to throw out there. But if you have any questions in that regard, or you're like, I'm confused about whatever this finance topic is.
Yeah, let's talk about credit cards. Let's talk about cash. Let's talk about budgeting.
Credit cards.
What do you want to learn about? What do you want to learn about? You want to learn about Bitcoin?
Yeah.
Do you want to learn about Dogecoin?
What is that?
You want to learn about Stellar Coin?
We are continuing.
All right. Thanks for watching. Subscribe. Thumbs up, thumbs down. You won't hurt my feelings.